We are live. Mike, take it away.
Hey, welcome back. Been a long time. We've been gone for a hot minute. So we're gonna do our new episode. 2023, new year, new you. What does that mean for
Yes.
everybody, and how's everybody going about it, and how are people failing epically at it in a spectacular fashion? Remember, even if you fail, do it spectacularly all day. So, with that being said, I'm under construction mentally, physically, and definitely physically. So my new year so far is going okay. I knocked down 11 pounds.
Oh, congrats. That's
Yeah,
big.
yeah. yeah. It hurts, but I like it. Yeah, it hurts. My body's sore, but it's okay. It's called molding and sculpting. And then I'm gonna walk around here with a baby oil for a t-shirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm totally kidding. Yeah,
Okay, okay. All
I'm in
right.
Florida, so that could be done. I'm in Florida. That could be done. That could be possible. It's when I get to the winter climates out now. But yeah, for the most part. So how about you guys?
So 2023 has been good for me thus far. Like right now, we are in Prague. So I'm enjoying that. And that's one of our 2023 goals is to travel more. Because we have like less than a year left in Germany and we really just want to make the most of it. We started off our year in Germany. No, we started off our time in Germany in quarantine. So like literally the first year we did nothing. And then the second year it was like recovering from doing nothing. And now we're in our third year and I'm like, okay, I think it's time for us to do something. So for us, 2023 is really about being intentional about traveling. So every 4-day weekend, we are going to be somewhere, not at our house. Um, so that's the goal for us. But other than that, I don't subscribe to New Year's resolutions. So I'm not trying to do anything other than travel and hibernate and hibernating while I'm traveling, if that's a thing.
One burrow to the next.
Yes, right. One cozy place to the next cozy place. So
Anything wrong with that?
yeah, so that's what we have going on. Eating good food, being around good energy, and just making the most of the time we have left here.
Awesome. Prague sounds very je ne sais quoi, so I like it.
Yes, we'll have to get you out here to Europe.
You know what the thing is? If I go, I'm just never coming back. I'm gonna just forego all of my mortal possessions and just screw it.
Hey,
That's okay.
hey, that's what's up. I feel the
Tons
same
of
way.
people
I feel
do
like if I
that.
go somewhere, not.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was just walking past somebody eavesdropping in their conversation. They were talking about how they were backpacking across Europe for like years. So hey,
Wow.
to it.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a doable thing. I think you gotta get in there and see what's up. You know what I mean?
Just jump in. That's
Yeah,
the best way to start.
not dipping my toe in, just going waist deep, not neck deep, waist deep, waist deep. Yeah. How's it going for you, Trish?
Um, 2023 or 2022? A little
New
bit of
Year,
both.
new
Kind of
you.
like what New Year. Well, I'm continuously evolving, so every day I wake up, there's something
Yes.
different and new about me that I'm completely embracing or fighting with or bitching with, or I'm still very much me. Um, 2022 was really about recovering from 2020 and all the other years
Yes.
prior to it. Like Jordan said, like everything just caught up and it was just it was atrocious. It was
Yeah.
atrocious. And still within that, I held onto my hyper independence and powered through and made sure that I was trying to break the mold of like doing this on my own and reaching out to Jordan and other friends. I did a lot of that in 2022, which was nice, but to get myself into that space, the avoidance was real. So I'm just queen avoidance right now. I like the avoidance. That's me. And then when I trace it back to like my genetics, I'm like, oh, I'm literally hardwired to be this way. And I'm okay with it
Yeah.
because that's my happy space. And with that being said, it's all about hibernating, traveling, talking to strangers, talking to my friends, and then holding space for my friends because everybody's really going through some serious things right now, and it's heavy. And I'm very intuitive, so like it's been really heavy, and I don't mask anymore at all. I don't even attempt to. So for 2023, I will continue to show up as is.
Yes.
And I recognize that I only have so much time with people, and that's okay. I truly do enjoy being by myself to the point where, Mike, if I do get on a plane, I may not come back, but I do have kids and I know that they would miss me. But I've told them, if I don't be pressed. I just need like 3 months,
Don't
2
take it
months to
personally.
myself. Don't take it personal. Like it's weird, but I was listening to Taraji Henson. She was like,
Actress,
I've been here like several times where I've burnt out of everything. I've done everything I want to do. And I feel the same way where I'm just like, what is there now to do? Like, I need something else to look forward to. Primarily it's my ADHD, but hey, it's work for me. It's my superpower. It's my gift when I could own into it. And then there's times where I'm talking to folks and they want me to, they're very upset that I don't follow the systemic program, like
Of
the
course.
norm. And I'm like, oh Lord, like, like, and it rings very loud to me, louder than it did ever before.
Right.
So that's been super interesting. It really has changed my mind as to not change, but just pivot the way that I kind of flex and move with folks now. So 2022 was rough as hell. 2023, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Stronger now than I was last year. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
I don't know if
good.
that answered anything, but that's what it is
No,
today.
Dude, 2022, like we were saying earlier, 2022 was whooping my ass, and it got a lot of people's ass handed to them. So it was like some of us handled it better than most, and some of us was like, I know for a fact I buckled underneath the pressure in the hardest way possible. And you know what I'm saying, I'm back at myself, with the grace of God of like like you said, people that are very into that sense my energy dimming and the light in me fading away. So thank God they got in the universe aligned people to come in the right time when I was sinking. But boy, when I tell you I was in a shitty place, I was in the
Yes, sir.
you know what I'm saying, the dark hole, just yeah, it was.
And I think
I call it the
was-
Alice in Wonderland hole, right? Like I was like, what the hell am I doing down here? Like, what the?
Yeah, and it wasn't like a psychedelic trip drop. It was just like, yeah, I'm being pulled up. And I don't know what it is. And I'm not high or anything. This is not good. I was just like, it wasn't a good one.
But like Trish said, I think that was 2022 for a lot of people. Like I feel like it was a time of stripping away everything that no longer serves you, all of the things that had us blinded to our true needs and our true values and our true desires. Like I feel like all of those things were removed. And 2022 for me, I guess I can't speak for everyone, I can speak for myself, was really about getting back to the basics. Like, who are you? What do you need? What do you love? What are you passionate about? And everything else, just throw it away. Like, just throw it away. Whether that's, people, things, places, like everything that isn't in alignment with you, just let it go. If it's meant for you, it'll be there. If not, then it won't. And so
I think that was the hardest part too, is like knowing that, yes, I'm fully aware that I'm here, things are here for a reason, a season, and, organically we're gods, and I get all of that. But to detach from those things, I was like, wow, I felt like parts of me were dying. Like every day I felt like I was dying, and then I was rebirthing. And then like Mike said, emotionally, I felt like I was drowning.
Yeah.
And there was like my just the energy it took to exchange with people. It was like, it has to be at this level, because if I keep going backwards, I'm miserable. So I strived for those interactions with people that really kept my light. And I'm seeing other lighthouses.
Right.
And I think 2022 was about finding other omens, finding other lighthouses to kind of connect with.
I love that, lighthouses.
And then when I went home like to Arizona. At that point, I was like, oh Lord, I'm spiraling again. But I went right back into that body of this is where you're working at. This is where all the stress is happening. And my body was just like, hey, let's go right back to where you started, even though you've left for almost like 2 years. So it was interesting. Very interesting.
And I think
Do not recommend, and I do not subscribe.
And like we talked about this in our mindfulness group last week. We talked about how happiness or joy is contagious. And I think I saw that a lot in 2022, like the importance of the people that you associate yourself with. Like there are some people that you talk to and you're going to be that light for them. But there should at least be one person in your regular everyday life that is that light for you. That one person that you can go to and there isn't this like drawing of energy, like they're sucking the life out of you, but they are that source of light. There should be at least one person so that there is some kind of like refuge from everything else.
Yeah.
Because energy is contagious, whether it's joy or sadness or anger or whatever it is that you're feeling. So if you're constantly being around people that are, gossiping and angry all the time and complaining about everything negative that's going on in the world, that's going to bring you down real quick.
Yeah. And speaking of that, it's like when you're talking about energies, it's like, what's that thing that's called where you put water in and then you fill it into a plant to give it nutrients and let it grow? What do they call that? Like the thing that the gardener uses to puts water in it, and then he waters your plants and stuff like that.
Like a watering can?
Is it a watering
can?
Yeah. Is that what you're talking about? Like just the can that you use to put the water in to water the plants?
Yeah.
Yeah, watering can. Uh-huh.
So it's like the energy and the positive energy, the soulful energy is being absorbed, is being filled in the watering pan. And as people that are like we like to put into people, but then at the same point in time, who's refilling the can for us as we're pouring it into people? And it was like I found myself basically pouring in emptiness and just shaking the thing, and it was still empty. And I'm just like, yo, what? And then it's like, it was like, I was talking to somebody a while ago. It was like, yo, they're saying it, but they're speaking positivity. They're saying it, but it's not registering. It's not hitting at the core. It's not rejuvenating me. It's not filling the soul. And it's like, but I'm still trying to pour out. You feel me? I'm still trying to give out even though my watering can was empty. Right. And I was giving out reserves. I was giving out space. I was giving out air, and more it was going away. It was just like, yo, I couldn't turn it off. I couldn't turn that part off. But then the other, like the emptiness, and then the emptiness turned into that dark hole of the watering can, which is a great analogy. I didn't think about it. Into the pouring in.
It really is.
You know what I mean? And so it was like, I'm trying to water a plant with no water, and just like my energy, and it was just like nothing was filling it in. Even though I had people around me that were like, they cared, and people genuinely do care, and it was like, but it just wasn't. It wasn't the right spice, I guess. You'd say it wasn't the right. It was like it's like you need something for substance, but then at the same point in time, an apple can fill you up, but then a nice juicy apple can fill you up for a whole day. It all depends on what kind of fruit or nutrients you put in your body. And I was getting nutrients, but it just didn't feel like it was enough energy. And it was like empty it was like empty non-nutritional calories coming in.
Yeah.
No calories, no nutritional value. So
no nutritional value. And sorry, go ahead, Jordan.
I was just going to say quickly that your analogy about the watering can is a perfect analogy, because I always talk about how we're all like plants. But the difference is that instead of being a watering can where I'm filling into me and then I'm pouring out into the plant, you should be more like a water fountain, where from your overflow, you're feeding the people around you, not pouring out from all that you have. So I'm filling up with water, and it's like a cup over a cup. I'm filling up with water. The cup at the top is so full, it's overflowing, and filling up the cup at the bottom, right? So the cup at the top is never empty because it's always being poured into. There's always a water supply.
Yeah. It started to look like the Sahara Desert. I don't know. I was in a drought.
Right.
I was going to say, it sounds like Arizona. I was like, well, if I can't do this, I'm just going to turn into a cactus. That's fine. And
at that point, right?
I'm just going to pivot and be this cactus. And then I'm like, oh Lord, I'm thirsty, but I'm not designed for this because I
Yeah,
need to be hydrated.
We're not meant to be cactuses. Yes.
That's what that
Well, that's
was.
the stubborn. Well, if this is work, I'll just do something else. Like,
Yeah.
like when do you stop? But like, it goes back to what Jordan said, like, that should be the ideal part. Like, you fill your cup and then everything else, everybody gets filled. But that's not how I was raised. I was raised to fill everybody else's cup. And so that kind of rang very loud to me last year. Like, I'm still doing this. I'm literally not even keeping up with my own hygiene. And yet I'm asking this person if they need help, Like, I kept outsourcing my energy. I kept outsourcing because I needed to feel something. But I was like, at what point do you love yourself enough to kind of do this for you? And figuring that out was excruciating because I'm like, I love myself. Like, I promise you I do. Like, I love this girl. Like, I love her. But I'm like, what is your issue? Like, no, be kind to yourself, be gentle. And I'm like, I can't do it. Like, I just kept going back and forth. And I talked to Jordan about this. Like, there's several different parts of us that keep showing up religiously. Like, my 13-year-old self will show up where I'm like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. I'm so tired of this shit. Why is anybody helping me? God damn, like, I'm just going to cheat. You know what? Just give me your paper. Let me go ahead and do that. And then I have the 2-year-old self, which it's like I verbally, I can't express to you what's happening, but I feel it.
Yeah.
Shut down. And there's no verbal dialogue coming out of here. And I'm watching everybody and I'm being my best 2-year-old self, good behavior, but I don't like this stuff. And then there's the 28-year-old who is a boss lady who doesn't give a shit and will trample through a wall and bring home the championship and do everything she needs to do without any cares to the world. And then the mom shows up where she is empathetic, has shame and guilt, and has so much on her plate that nobody else can do it as best as I can, yet I can't even keep up with my own stuff. So I was like, what is happening? And my friend was like, you have to embrace all of those parts of you. Do not push away those parts of you. That is very much a part of you that you've had to sustain in different realms of these lives. And you want to honor those things. But in the moment, your body just hijacks itself and it goes back to these memories, just like automatic. And that's what COVID was really about as far as mental responses. And I was like, well, how the hell are people supposed to deal with that? Like, it doesn't make any sense, because then I'm reverting back to these old patterns and behaviors to soothe myself, right? And I can't. I have to be responsible. I mean, I got kids to take care of. I've got bills. You know what I mean? I'm just like, you know what? My hands are to you, God. Like, please, just take it. It's a lot. It's been a lot. So yeah, that's so crazy that you guys mentioned that.
Yeah. You hit it on the nose with everything you said. We definitely hit it on the nose. And it was just like seeing your old self. And I learned a lot about myself, which I was like, what the fuck? I found I had a birthmark on my butt cheek. Didn't even know it was there.
Okay.
Didn't even know that was there. I felt betrayed because no one told me.
What?
No, nobody honored your birth.
Yeah, it's below my left. It's below my left, my right butt cheek, and I was like, nobody told me this entire time. I had a birthmark on my butt cheek. Wow, and you think you really know the betrayal? No one did. But then one person was like, I thought you knew. How? What am I doing? I'm not looking back there like that. What do you mean? Somebody would have told me something at some point in time. God, much as I ran around naked as a kid, shit. But no one told me. I felt hurt a little bit. I was like, wow. And you think you really know people.
So is this to say that if we find random marks on people, we should ask them if they are aware of these random marks?
I would think so. So. Be like, that's a cool birthmark. And be like, what birthmark? Oh, you got one right there, just below your calf, or right there behind your neck.
Noted.
Or whatever, wherever you're at, wherever you're looking. I'm just saying, if you're people watching and you're doing a really good job of looking at people watching, it's like, all right, cool. If you know them, point it out. If you don't, keep that shit to yourself. But if you don't know them, keep it to yourself. But yeah, man, it was that, and then it was just a whole bunch of things. It was just like, wow, Yeah, 2022. You know what I'm saying? 2023, new you, new year, new you. All the bad, bring it with you, leave it, learn from it, toss it to the side, but definitely toss it to the side, understand and make it a better you, and then apply all the positivity. And I realized I was also being like, I've always been very critical of myself. So yeah, it was a part of that dark side too that got me. So, now
Yeah.
now it's like we were talking about last time we were doing this, love language pop, like words of
Yeah.
affirmation. Gotta give it to myself.
Yeah.
To people, but I gotta always give it to myself every single.
Right.
I can't take a break on it. I gotta give it to myself every single day. Otherwise, I will not be a functional person. I mean, care about me, but I don't care about me more than I care about others, and I need to do that differently.
And that's the crazy part with a lot of people, and goes back to what Trish was saying about, loving on yourself. Because we are so quick to love on other people and we go hard for other people. But then, like you said, Mike, we're so critical of ourselves. Like if somebody else were to do the same thing, we would have given them grace and like, it's okay, you made a mistake. And da, da, da. But then when it comes to ourselves, like we beat ourselves up. And there's no grace and there's no sense of forgiveness. It's just like we just keep on beating ourselves up and beating ourselves and you got to do better and blah, blah, blah. But if we could just spin it around for a second and just love on ourselves with the same amount of tenacity that we love on other people, just for a moment, like the impact that could potentially have on our lives.
So much greatness. So much greatness.
Yeah.
It's so rewarded though. It's that's the other part of me watching how rewarded it is. It's rewarded when you push past your threshold. It's rewarded when you perfectionize something. It's rewarded when you do the same redundant thing to the point of insanity to impress the masses, right? Like you put your body, you put your vessel, not body, you put your vessel through all of these things to mold it and lose weight and gain weight. And at what point I know I never honored my body the way I should have. Like every different body I got, I was like, wait, I was surprised that it showed up. Like, wait, where did this come from? Like, how did I earn this? And then I would criticize myself because that's it wasn't even my language. That's the other part. The critical part of me didn't even belong to me.
Yeah.
The things that I was saying to myself are the things that my elders were saying to me and had been said, and it's like, I would have never talked to myself like that. Or coaches, because when you play at a higher league, like these coaches, like they own you. And so when you don't come to perform, regardless of what's happening with your internal self, period, maybe you sprained your ankle, maybe you fell off a scooter. Hey, I fell off a scooter and went to practice that same day. And I couldn't tell my coach, like, hey, this is what's happening. You have to suck it up and push through it because there is no room for any sort of sensitivity or whatsoever.
Right.
And even if there was, I wouldn't know because it was taken out of us at a very young age. Like you're not allowed to cry. You want something to cry about? I'll give you something to cry about. You're like, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm just going to swallow this and just let it transfer in my body. I'm good. Right. Like, and it's just like all of that stuff was coming up. And I felt myself, like I said earlier, transitioning to those ages. And I had to recognize and identify that I was in that stage and then kind of hold space for myself in those moments. And that's what I feel like winter is about, is just kind of like, I don't know, just sitting with all of yourselves. Because in the summertime, I don't feel like that. Like I feel like a brand new person. I'm outside every single day. Like I'm smiling. I'm like, hey, rainbows and sparkles. And then winter comes in. I'm like, all right, I'm good. See y'all in 6 months. Like I got some shit to do. But yeah, last year was brutal. The lockdown, just looking at all of my relationships instead of just compartmentalizing relationships. They were like, look at all of your relationships. What is the theme with all of your relationships?
Right.
And I was like, oh my, like, that's interesting. And I choose, you still get choices where I'll self-sabotage if I begin to expire in spaces where I'm fed up. I've done this with jobs. I've done this with sports. I've done this I'm trying not to do it with parenting. You know what I mean? Like it's a habit. It's a habit. It's my ADHD. I'm bored. Like nobody tells you how bad ADHD really impacts you after a while. Like Your brain is just like, hey, I like new things, and this mundane thing for, day in and day out is just not going to
Yeah.
work for us. You got to change it up. You got to change it up.
Nah.
And you got to leave spaces. Somebody said, if you're in a space, as soon as you leave the door, you're entering a different realm. And I thought that was so interesting because it's like my brain gets stagnant. And if I change rooms, now I have a flush of new ideas.
Mm.
I have a flush of new, like, creative things to do. And I was like, oh, I never thought about that. But that does make a lot of sense, because every time I changed doors, it was literally because I was in a routine. I was being told what to do. Hey, you're going from X, Y, Z. This is your schedule. This is your plan. My life has been planned out for me from the jump. Like, to have all this time on myself to figure out what I want to do, I have no idea. I mean, if my bank account wasn't an issue, I'd have been everywhere. Like, it would not be an issue, right? But because I have to consider,
You and I had to say straight up. I'm not gonna lie to you. You
kind of
waiting
makes
for
me
me to
pivot.
hit that lottery. You hit that lottery one time, just one time. Great, just one time. Once I get up, good. I'm good. All right.
Yes.
It's all good.
Yeah.
You hit that lottery that one time. Just that
Who knows?
one time.
Who
I don't
knows?
want a lot. I don't want a whole $250 million. Just that one time. Give me 10 grand. I'll make something happen with 10 grand. Just that
I
one
want
time.
my words to every time I breathe and speak, I need it to be deposited into my account. Like, that's 2023 for me.
Yeah,
Every time I speak, deposit in my account. Just go ahead and slide it over.
exactly.
I don't want to look at my account no more. Like, I feel like I've earned earned my keep in this planet. Like, it's time. It's time for some
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
that's
definitely.
2023.
Yeah. Again, new year, new you. We gonna make the best of it. We gonna do right by each other in every way possible.
Yeah.
Things like that, I finally had made it. I made it a year dating somebody. And,
Yeah.
yeah, and then I got dumped. What is it? 10 days later.
Oh gosh, that
You know,
broke my
but
heart.
it was okay. It was okay though. It was okay. It was okay. It was okay. It was one of those things where you knew it was coming, because although they're good people, but you both realize that you're two different people, and it's best to basically have that discussion like mature adults, which we did. And I'm not gonna lie, out of all the breakups I've seen and been a part of, this was by far one of the most maturest ones I've ever done. Talked about it. We expressed ourselves. I understood where they was coming from. They understood.
Oh, I love
They
that.
broke up with me, so therefore I had no choice but to understand where they was coming from. And so it was like, yeah, it was worth it. It was good. It was like pure, and I liked it. Yeah, I mean, it was different. I mean, I was hurt, but then it was like, can I really be hurt though? Because it's like you're good peoples, but it's like y'all not each other's person. Y'all on two different playing fields or wavelengths and paths and journeys, and it's like you're by the Bible. I'm by something else. Not that I say I'm out here sending it stuff, but
And
not-
yeah, you do have a right to be hurt. You can feel hurt for the loss, but still understand and appreciate why that loss was there. Like, those feelings aren't mutually exclusive.
exactly. And everything about it though was really good though. The whole situation was good and all of that. So, when it was all said and done, it's like I didn't lose anything. I gained a whole bunch of knowledge and an experience that I, basically can put towards my future of making me adding on to a better version of myself anyways at the end of the day though. So that was good though for me. Took that in, and I mean, it was interesting. All that happened, but it was just like that was like the tail end of the whole thing while everything else was going on in 2022. So it was like, yeah, 2023, new you, new year.
Okay. But can we talk about how y'all going to the beach? Can we talk about that?
Oh yeah. Went to the beach, did the whole spiritual cleansing thing. They say the ancestors do believe that salt water, bathing in the ocean clears out the whole thing, and yeah. So it was one of those situations where it was just like you kind of cleared yourself out, cleared your mind, and everything else. It was good.
But she's Christian though, like
Yeah.
a devout Christian. So whose idea was it to go to the beach to cleanse? Because that's not usually like a
Yeah, that's not usually a Christian thing. And see, that's like the triple thing. It's like when you're an island person, you believe in the Bible, but then you still believe in the roots.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they always got one foot in and one foot out. Because they'll carry that Bible, but then they still do spiritualistic,
Spiritual practices, yeah.
all of that thing. And then the one side is the Bible, and then the other side is the complete spiritualistic kind of things that they still do. So it's like it plays a role in the both worlds. So it's like I get it, I understand it. I was brought up in it. So for me, it's understandable. I get the wording behind everything else, that it didn't make sense. For anybody else that's not familiar with it, it doesn't make sense. But once you're familiar with it, then it's just like, okay, cool. I saw somebody talking about how we're basically catering to traumatic behavior by saying it's the culture, and we're just chopping it up a way where people don't apologize for things because they say, oh, it's our culture. Yeah. This situation wasn't that, but it just kind of made sense to like how you're one way, but then you still go this way. And I'm just like, you're straddling the fence. Our people are straddling on the fence on that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like when I think about that situation, I think about it in a broader spectrum. It's like we're merciful, forgiving to everyone else but our own people. And so we're harder, we're more tougher, and we're more stern with our own people than we are with others. So it's like we're forever straddling the fence on both sides of our behavior and our love and our level of forgiveness. So there's that. But yeah, so went to the beach, and Jordan, you know me for a very long time. It doesn't take me long. Once I got my walking papers, I was already looking for a new job. Anyways, so say I didn't take I wasn't unemployed for long. But I'm going through the interviewing stages. That's where I'm relating moving on to a new person, to a new situation as an employment situation, because it's like there's a 90-day review. Not like there's a 90-day, so we got to do the criminal background checks, the urine. You got
that's intense.
That's all of those things. You got to make sure you got to make sure you're legit right now. So,
uno momento, por favor. We are talking about interviewing for your next candidate.
So his new year, new boo. Not new you, but new boo. That's what we're working on right now.
That's an intense process, Jesus. It's like getting through the federal government.
But in actuality,
that's where international people will never get in.
But in actuality, that's what it is. It's like, you started off with somebody, you broke up with somebody, but you're not really in the mood to date somebody again, but you're just going to talk to them just to get to know them. That's the interviewing process.
You're browsing.
The process is lengthy. You know what I mean? And then the background checks is you asking them questions. And I encourage everybody, you better ask them uncomfortable questions now. Leave no table unturned. Ask them if they want kids, birth defects, medical illnesses. You better hit them where it hurts. Make them walk away either comfortable answering these questions or ashamed that they had to lie to you. Because people gonna lie and be like, no, I've never had an STD. Okay. I'll take your word up. When that paperwork comes back, what is this? See? You know what I mean? They walk away. I like in the past, way back. Anyways, right? You would ask people, it's like, yo, before we do anything, let's get tested. And they'd be like, nah, what are you trying to say? I'm dirty? No. I know I'm very promiscuous. Obviously, you're single, you ain't married to nobody, so I can't assume you've been holding off for me to get there. So let's not play coy. You know what I mean? Let's not play coy. Let's run a diagnostic and make sure, we're not transferring, wrong oils to each other. I'm being very PG about it as much as I can. So it's like, and so lucky for me, this new person and the person before them, they were all okay with that, and a couple of people before them as well. So it's like, it's good, but then you run across people that don't want to have that conversation, those tough conversations that I feel you should have. It's like, you better ask those uncomfortable questions. Otherwise, you stuck being with somebody. It's like, I love them, but I'm not in love with them. Or we got married because, I'm getting old. Really? There's no love there? You just got married because you was getting old? You could have got a dog for that. Keep you company. I mean, they have toys now that can do a whole bunch of things that a human being can not do and can do. Yeah, I meant that can do things, but they can't provide emotional, but they can do a bunch of physical things. That's the case.
So what you're saying is there are options.
There's a lot of options.
No one should have to get married because they feel like they're getting up there in age.
Exactly. Or you come across the ones that's like, my eggs are drying up, I need to have a baby. With just anybody? Really? That's what we're coming to now. And I'm just like, yeah, that's not for me. This isn't the right wheelhouse. This is not okay. These kind of conversations. And then you have people that are just like, oh no, it's too soon. Nothing is too soon when it comes to your body and your personal space.
Too soon for what?
Any questions. Whether it's marriage, whether it's family history, whether it's trauma, all of that, you got to know what you're dealing with up front before you try to commit to somebody, because there's some crazy people in the world. Some really people.
If we want to go back to 2022, I understand that not nobody, but the majority do not know themselves.
Yeah.
Like, it's taken, and I knew myself until I wake up in the morning, and then I got to get to know this other person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I'm in spaces, different environments, there's a different side of me that shows up because it's adapting to that space. So I think the program, how well they're programmed, is very telling.
Yeah.
Like, where to go where you'll fit into the program, and where to go where you don't fit in the program. And you're just like, what the actual fuck is happening over here? Right? Like, maybe I like this. Maybe I can get to like this. Maybe this is too risque for me. And maybe this is some underground shit where I ain't trying to play.
There you go. Exactly.
I think part of it, though, is that a lot of us,
I see this before.
a lot of us have so much like trauma that we are carrying around and we have not processed, that we are reactionary. Like, we're reacting to life all around us, but we never get the chance to really sit and figure out, okay, who am I? What do I like? What do I not like? What kind of man do I really want? Not what kind of partner do I need based on my trauma responses, but in my heart of hearts, my desire for my soul self, what do I want? Yeah. And like, I was just talking to a client earlier about this, like how, there are some people who are attracted to people because they fit into their, like, I had a bad relationship with my dad. So the people that I'm looking for are filling that daddy role. That's not the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with, but they're filling this trauma response role that I have created for them. Right. And so then we end up down the line, we finally decide to do the work. And then you realize, oh, this person, they're not quite what I need anymore, because I'm not the same person that I was when we first started. And so it's like,
and they can't go to where I'm going either. So I'm like, oh, goddamn, like, what does that mean? I've been there many times. Yeah.
And then you got people that are just carry that carry literally that ball and chain strapped to their leg, all the way out of sheer, niceties. I'm gonna just call it that, because it ain't even loyalty. It's just you being a nice person. You want.
Well, no, some of it is commitment, because like there are different types of love. One of those types of loves is I'm committed to this person. I'm committed to this relationship. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as it's respectful to me. I'm committed to this relationship, this situation, no matter how.
I'm gonna let you be in your space, and I'm gonna be in my space.
Right.
And we still have a commitment to make sure
I will
that
take care of
I
you,
do
make
my
sure
gift.
needs are met. Right.
Yeah, and
nobody talks about that.
No, and it's true, and it's like that's what I'm always about. Like, have these conversations, have these weird conversations, because like you said, Trish, you're right. Every day we all wake up, we different people. We're in a different, we get in a different atmosphere, a different space, different crew. Like, we're going on vacation. Cool. You're on vacation in the United States. You're fine. You're on vacation with a person in a different country. Then you see how they really are. Now you're like, right. Gotta find out what you're getting into. But then you if you can't basically say, listen, I'm gonna drop both of us in Peru and just to see how you working out, man, you better ask some questions, get creative, find out what you're getting into. Find out what it like. I mean, like I said, everybody is different. We're all changing. But then at the end of the day, make sure that person you're trying to get to know and find out that they're worthy to you for whether the outcome of that end result. Not like, oh, I like it then, but now 12 years later, 13 years later, I'm like, it's not my cup of tea anymore. Okay.
That'd be happening though.
Yeah, we're ever evolving beings.
Every
We're
4 years for
constantly
me,
changing.
3 to 4. 3 to 4 years. I feel like I'm on an academic schedule. Every 3 to 4 years, I would change an academic setting, and if I didn't, then I would start feeling stagnant and stuck. Now I'm asking
for everybody
shit to like,
yeah.
Like I could never. Nobody's ever spoke about this. I'm glad that you're bringing this up. Like, the other part is just accepting. Like, hey, it is what it is. It was good while we hung out and stuff. Like, but this is where I'm going. This is where I need to go, and I love you, but I'm gonna need to love you from afar.
Right. I'm grateful for the time that we had, and I'm accepting that now that time has come to an end. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. The individuals that what they consider themselves to be the casualties of the receiving of that. I mean, I get it. You don't understand that you feel one way and you expected them to feel that way. But unfortunately, this is the world you live in. And we're all day, every day growing into different peoples. And if we're basically not lining up to one individual side, it's like, what do you want them to do? Remain with you out of sheer loyalty and I for one don't understand it. Like, it's like, be with the person. If you want to work it out. Then you continuously working it out, and you still not happy. They deserve a conversation. They deserve a conversation. They deserve to be talked to, and for you to express yourself. And if you feel comfortable doing it in front of people, so that way you don't get knocked over the head, please do so, because there's some freaky, crazy people out there in the world. Not gonna lie.
This is true. I'm not negating that.
I saw a news clip the other day while I was at work. It just popped up on my tile. This dude was stomping the mud hole, and I mean like ATL walk and stomp on this woman's face.
Oh no!
Because she rejected his proposal. I was like, my God.
Oh no! That's the kind
of
of stuff that scares me, like, about dating in this era, because people have that's not a healthy response to anything.
It's like my question is, how long was they dating for before?
It doesn't matter. You could be dating for 10 years. That is never an acceptable response.
Listen, it's not. I'm not saying it's acceptable. I'm just saying a person like that can't hide that kind of behavior tactic. Right. So at some point in time, she had to know if she ever gave a response that he didn't like, this was going to be her downfall. Yeah. I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm like, if a dude got anger issues like that, whether somebody messing up his dry cleaning or his order, you got to reevaluate yourself. Take some Tai Chi classes or something, just in case if they come out of pocket, or carry a knife with you, or carry a gun. However it is, whatever country you're in. By the way,
maybe she thought because it was live, she was safe, or because it was being videotaped.
You know what? Yeah, that's probably what it was. But he stomped the mud hole out of her, and I was just like, bro,
no, that's awful.
Like, she's on the ground. He picks his feet up and he just goes down. I was like,
I can't
recording this whole thing, and I'm just like, and it's another thing. We live in a generation now where no one intervenes; they just record.
Yeah, where was this?
India.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's a little bit different.
They have the worst mental health there. They're so overpopulated.
Right. And with masculinity, I mean, that's like, I don't know what their rules and regulations are there, but I know, like, shame, I can imagine how shameful that was. And maybe that was his response to the shame of being, rejected publicly.
I mean, I don't care. That was just crazy for me. But like I said, ask these questions, read the telltale signs. Everyone, I have a friend of mine who feels like, oh, if they did nothing wrong to me, why should I break up with them? Dude, there's plenty of things that isn't right. You don't have to break up with somebody because they hurt you, or they.
And you don't have to be with somebody just because
just because they treat you nice.
A good person.
Yeah, if they're a good person, that's okay, but it doesn't necessarily mean they right for you. You know what I'm saying? Right. You can always end it. And then, hey, if fate intervenes or whatever you believe in says, hey, it's time for you guys to give each other a chance, then by all means, run up on it around that time. But just to stay with somebody talking about, oh, they're good people. Like I said, my situation, we good people to each other, but we know we two different people.
Right.
So it's like I can honestly be like, no, I don't want to be alone. I like you. I'm gonna fight to get back with you. But why? It's not that me not fighting to get back with you doesn't mean I love you any less. Doesn't mean I don't like you like that. No, it just means I understand we two different peoples. You presented a case that made valuable sense to me. Like we're two different peoples, we're on two different paths. And the conversation of our relationship, we started it off like that. And it was like either one of us, whenever we come to the point in time in this relationship where we feel like, yo, it's just not enough. All right, we're gonna shake hands and bow out gracefully. Like I said, I'm doing it different than anybody else has ever. But you know, it's I mean, like I said, it's gonna hurt either from my side or her side. Either way, it's gonna hurt. But you know, you're coming from the same place. Don't stay with somebody just to basically be like, oh, now we got this going on. Oh, they're a nice person. No, if you're genuinely on two different pages, it's okay to respectfully break up and separate yourselves from that person, but still maintain cordial, maintain the level of respect.
Right.
There ain't no need to try to be all
maturity
about it. Exactly. I mean, like your pride getting broken into is nothing. It's just your pride. It can always be. It's your pride. I don't know I don't know anything good about having pride. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know anything good about having pride. The only thing I take pride in is saying, like, having pride about my word. If I say I'm going to do something, then I'm going to do my best to live up to it. I'm going to try and live up to it. But if I can't, I'll let you know, hey, sorry, yeah. But at least I told you, I gave you my word. I'm speaking, communicating to you about it. But being a prideful person and letting your pride get in the way of you, of letting somebody else be happy is idiotic to me. And so it's like,
it's crazy that you say that, because I feel like there's so many different layers to what love actually means, because sometimes love means respect. If you love me, you respect me. If you respect me, you love me. And that kind of language I got confused with growing up. Also, the love that you're shown when you're younger and the bid for attention that you've shown when you're younger does seem to communicate very loudly in your relationships only when things start going south. Those unhidden things that you don't have a language for. You've never talked about it with your family. It's just normally accepted. You bring that into these other relationships. Culturally, you know, whatever you're bringing with your culture, like it's so complex and it's not as clear as what we're saying right now, but I feel everything that you're saying. So if I didn't know that I was an avoidant attachment, people would be like, why the hell are you married? You don't even like to be with da 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 da. And it's not that I don't like it. It's just that my time, my meter for social media for anything is it's skeptical. Yeah. Sometimes I could do a day, sometimes I got an hour, but let's be very mindful. Like there's other things in life that kind of takes you away, and it is your birthright to go to these spaces that you truly enjoy and love. And then there's that part of you that wants to, that needs that part of you, biologically, and autonomy. You're a human and you need connection. How people bid for connection is it's on the person. It's on that individual person. Not everybody's going to agree. Now, how you move in spaces because of whatever the case may look different from what it did when you were in their 20s versus in your 30s versus in your 40s, and so on and so on and so on. It's never cut and dry. I wish that it was. It'd make life so much more easier. But I hear what you're saying, though. I hear it and I feel it on so many different levels. And the other part to that is people don't know how to communicate like that. The communication, there's a recent study that communication has taken a huge plummet, like with the social media and the short videos, and the brain is only capable of holding probably, 30 seconds worth of that. What does that do for a relationship? Like, how do you build off of that? How do you build off of online connection when it's supposed to be, like a real connection? Like, it's just interesting. And then when can you allow somebody to love you and show up as themselves? And then when do you unprogram what you thought was love, what you view as what they should do for you as honorable in your space in that time for that moment, because relationships are not 50-50. They're just not. Marriages are not 50-50. Sometimes it's 80-20, sometimes it's 90-10, sometimes it's 5. Like, it depends on what's happening. And nobody teaches you that. And when you get into it, you're like, fuck that shit. I'm out. Like, you ain't doing your part. Like, I've been right. And it only rang out to me when I heard Michelle Obama talking about it. Like, these big names where they're still with their hubbies, but they're like, listen, I didn't like him all the
balance.
time. Like, I didn't like my husband the first 10 years. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I did a lot of the freaking work. And then I went with his family they speak Spanish and I don't speak no Spanish. And now I have to be, you know what I mean? Like, there was a lot going on with me, but it was the situation, but it wasn't really about like me not loving him. It's just like, yo, like, where you at? Like, what you doing? Why am I with your family, not you? Like, but Michelle Obama, like, she said it very clearly, like, he's going out there to do his thing. I'm doing my thing. Like, I didn't realize I was going to be the kin keeper of the family. Like, I didn't sign up for that. I'm not very domestic. Like, I'm just never going to be domestic. I am a wanderlust. I want to be out there on the plane, going somewhere, or a Greyhound bus, because I am a flight risk. And I'm okay with that. So I take my babies and we be a flight race together. Whereas
but you know that, and that's the most important part, right?
Right.
You're aware of that.
I'm aware of that. And then he likes to sit at home, watch TV, cook, be with the dog, and just be at home. And I'm just like, that's so boring. Like, why? For what? But then I'd complain if he'd go to the club, which he doesn't. But you know what I mean? Like, there's always something that I can nitpick about him, but I need to stay in I'm in my happy space. He's in his happy space, and it just kind of works. Yeah. And sometimes it does not work. Sometimes it just doesn't work. And I have to be okay with that too. And them times I turn into my girlfriend and I'm just like, I have my little sesh. And sometimes it's the 28th of the month and I don't like nobody. I mean, it depends.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. And it is one of those things where it's just like everybody's different. And it's like, coming from a guy's perspective, we're gonna look at it as from females are always we're gonna look at it as females always got something going on. They're in the different spaces, they're this, they're that. But it's like, to be honest with you, understand, like, to me, like, I had to be, in order for me to be this open-minded the way that I am, I had to go through a lot of different women in a lot of different scenarios for me to understand that, yo, literally, I got taken up and through there emotionally, respectfully, and, you know, heartbroken wise as well. And so to understand that everybody literally is their own person. And the problem is for most women, and I'm gonna say that because it's like, when you dealing with them, when it comes to men, yo, it's like, we're very simple. Not too many of us want too much. Not too many of us ask for a lot. So it's like, when we get with women, though, we're expecting almost the same thing. But in actuality, it's women are the ones that basically want to be 1 minute they this and 1 minute they that. For us, we're in the same box, and it's like, we're okay in that wheelhouse, no matter what it may be. We may venture out every now and again, but the comfortability, like you said, for a lot of cats, is staying at home, cooking, chilling, watching TV. And for you, it's like going out doing different kind of things. And then some people ain't like that. And then there are also men that are like that with you, that are like that exactly like you are, and they get with somebody else that are just this homebody and that just wants to chill at home and not do nothing. And it's like, these are the people that you choose to be with, but then at the same point in time, understand and support their differences and respect that. And then if you can't, then, you know what I'm saying, so be it. But then, like I said, though, but the problem is that everyone's communicating, but they're not effectively communicating. They're just hitting the surface. Nobody ever wants to, even when the people are getting married, they don't talk about the wrong things, because then your mind is programmed. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to make them feel this kind of way. I don't want them to think this, and I don't want them to think that. Then you start talking yourself out of basically being truthfully honest to yourself about what you want, what you expect, what you looking for, and what makes you happy, what turns you on, what turns you off. And so everybody gets caught up into the whole thing of worrying about what their partner's going to, how their partner is going to respond. And it allows them to, it allows them to go ahead into that shutdown mode and say, no, I'm not going to mention it. I'm gonna just keep it to myself.
Mm.
It's not okay. No matter what it is, if you dating somebody and they ain't hitting it right, talk to them about it. Unfortunately, for a lot of men, that's going to be a hard conversation to have. But I encourage a lot of men to take that conversation. This is why they created toys. You better start adding something into the bedroom, into the repertoire. And if a female wants to do something different, then by all means, express that to her. Let her know your comfort zone. But people should start doing that before they decide to hop into a marriage. And then basically, because everybody's me and my cousin, we were talking about a while ago, in the dating process, everybody gets their representative. And there, for some people, their representative will stay around for a long, long time. They will stay in that relationship, being the representative their entire time in that relationship, never truly letting their true self out.
Yeah.
And
it's safer.
Then it comes to the point where their true self comes out. Now somebody's like, who is this person?
Right.
Who's this person? And you married to him already. But it's like, why go through all that? Why do that? For the sheer sake of not being alone. Because it's like you get with a guy and you want to portray the role like you're a homemaker, you cook and clean. But then once you get the guy, you don't do it anymore. Why? If that's not you, don't pretend to be that person.
But a lot of people, the problem is that a lot of people feel like that person is unacceptable. Like if I don't do these things, if I'm not this socially acceptable version of myself, then nobody's going to want me. I'm never going to get to that place with a guy.
And then unfortunately, and you know what? You're right. You're probably never going to get to that place with a guy. But then the right
That's not true. The right person will come along.
Like I was going to say, the person that is meant for you is going to see you on those parts. And it's the same thing for, like, society makes it a consistent norm for men to go out on any date with any woman, buy her flowers, show her that you like her, spend money on her. That means you care, to the point where you got a generation of women. It's like they're unappreciative of any gesture a man does because they feel like you're supposed to do that because I'm a woman. But then the whole mentality goes, it's all about them, and it's never about the man. And then that's when you get a guy who wants to step out and be appreciated by somebody else who's idolizing what she has, and she's not taking it, and she's not showing responsibility. And then it's like people get into that point, like, you know what I'm saying, where buy her flowers, get her diamond jewelry and stuff like that. But then it's like, now you're just buying somebody's affection. You're just buying somebody's love. And the moment you stop doing that is the moment you're no longer of value to them. And they move on to somebody else. And it's true. A lot of men basically will be starved of attention, affection, affirmation, love, and all of these things, because it's like, if you going into a relationship, you gotta be given something and expect nothing in return every single time. Any man that gets into a relationship, we don't say it out loud, but it's like you get into a relationship and you expect, you gotta take her out. You gotta spend this X, Y, and Z type of money on it. You gotta give her a good time. Even if it ain't even if you stay within your budget, you still gotta spend money on them. And then when it's all boiled down, it's like, what do they do to make you happy? What do they do to make you feel like you're special or a priority? Because at the end of the day, not every man's like, yo, buy me this, buy me that. If you do it, that's cool. But most men just want the simplest things. But then people get into that whole, we're all programmed into being that one person doing the same thing over and over again, the rat race, and then everybody gets surprised about, oh no, you left me. Oh no, she left me.
That's not part of the program.
Like,
you left that part out.
Exactly. What you expect? It's like, come on. You set yourself up to be one way at the beginning, and then when you no longer can live up to that way, people are going to leave. So I tell everybody, man, you better set yourself up who you are up front so they know what they're getting in. You're a sour. Listen, I'm a Sour Patch Kid. I'm sweet and I'm sour. I'm gonna be nice and sweet to you. I'm gonna give you flowers every now and again. But if you expect that joy every time I hang out with you, no, I'm not that person. No, I'm not. Okay. And then I'm gonna ask a woman, do you like flowers? And they say, yeah. What kind? All right, cool. You get them that flowers. You know what? Thank you. I was talking to somebody and they're like, thank you. But you could have spent this money on chocolate or something. I mean, flowers are just gonna die. I don't really take care of them. Then why did you tell me you like flowers? Just say that. You know what I mean? Just say that. Don't have me waste my money on something that you don't like. But at the same point in time, did I ask that question? No, I did not. So in the words of in the words of my Haitian ancestor, "Saki de voyo," which in other words means "who sent you?" I sent myself in that situation. So I need to So, like I said, communicating, but then I'm not effectively communicating. I need to
Right.
ask the right questions. Don't assume that every woman likes flowers. Don't assume that every woman likes chocolates. Don't assume like every woman likes dark chocolates. And the same thing for women. It's like, and most importantly for men, it's like you're dating a woman. If they're not invested in you as an individual or character, knowing what you like, don't get with somebody who doesn't like sports and you like sports. There's chicks out there that like sports now. Get you somebody that likes sports. You know what I'm saying? Granted, though she may be built like a linebacker, but at least you'll be happy.
I mean, you can be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't like. I mean, there is a balance. Like you can not like sports and be in a relationship with somebody who likes sports and still find that balance and connection.
Yeah, no, and no.
I like live sports, but I don't like watching sports on TV.
There you
Right.
go.
I'm spoiled like that.
Wait, if I do sports on TV, it's a function going on. I'm at a bar. I'm really not watching the game. I'm actually listening to other people's talk, chit chat, and the conversation. But I do agree with what you're saying, Jordan, and I take it back. I apologize. You can get somebody that like thing. They don't have to necessarily like the same thing as you, but don't get somebody that obviously doesn't like the same things as you, but they're portraying the role like they do.
Right.
Because like you get somebody that says they're really into art. What's your favorite artist? We're not talking about musical. We're just talking about like art, paintings. I don't really know. There's a lot, and they just throw out a random name. Like, come on, like seriously, why are we doing this?
So it sounds like as we're wrapping up, so it sounds like everybody's kind of focused in the new year, new you category is really on authenticity, being able to be your authentic self, showing up as your authentic self, speaking your authentic voice, regardless of whether that's with your partner or a potential partner or friends or family or whoever, but just being able to show up in this space. Yes, in every relationship dynamic, showing up as your full self, unadulterated, just this is me. Afterwards about to bust into song. I'm sorry. Yeah, just being able to show up fully as yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like that's been the theme really of what we've been saying for the last hour and 1 minute. Just being us, being able to say, this is what I need. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is who I am. And you can take it or you can graciously leave it. Right.
I believe that's what Trish was definitely saying.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair. So 2023, the year of authenticity. Is that a fair assessment? The year of.
I think that's a good
stepping into the new.
Yeah. What's your word as we wrap up? What is your word for 2023?
Yeah.
What energy, what intention are you bringing into this year? Or we're already in this year, but are you manifesting in this year? I think what I'm going to say for myself is definitely authenticity. Just being able to flow as I am in whatever spaces are meant for me.
I ditto. Flow as I am. That day. Today.
Today, right in this moment, right now.
Today.
Tomorrow, yeah. I may be flowing in a different direction, but that's where we are tomorrow. Right now,
new day, new me. That's it.
Right.
There you go. You have to take it as it, as is. Yeah. I would say, love thyself. Love thyself. Love thyself before you love anybody else. Love thyself first. There's nothing wrong with putting yourself first, even before your kids. There's nothing wrong with putting yourself first. Because they always gonna come second. Because if you don't, who gonna take care of them when you're gone? So
yeah,
you take care of yourself so you can take care of them.
And eventually they can be out the house.
And then what? Then they're gonna put you in a home.
If you didn't take care of yourself, then sure will.
You know, there's that part. There's that part. You know what I'm saying? There's that part. But yeah.
So for Mike, it's the year of self-love.
Yes, 100% self-love. Got to.
Trish and I, it's the year of authenticity, flowing as we are. I feel it.
Being yourself. Got to.
And for those who are tuning in the comments, let us know, what's this year for you? What intention are you setting? What word brings in 2023 for you?
Drop them in the comments.
Yes. All right, lovely people. Well, that wraps up our time for today.
Awesome.
That's great.
Any final thoughts, final words?
No, welcome back. I missed all your faces.
Yes. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh,
What'd you
play
say?
that.
So yeah, that's it for me. I
Yeah.
have nothing else to say.
All right, lovely beings. Well, thanks for popping in and chit chatting with us. Feel free, like I said, to leave that word in the comment. Let us know what your 2023 is the year of for you. Other than that, we will see you all soon. Have a fantastic week, and we'll catch you next time on Beyond the Sum of Our Parts. Bye.
Adios.